New life is coming to the New Dig Norfolk garden. And it's amazing to see, because this vegetable will be giving us a harvest next year in the month of June. Garlic is not the only new life though. So are these broad beans. If you're a regular follower of our channel, you'll know that just 2 weeks ago we sowed these seeds. These are home safe seed, and you can see the germination has been really very good. And they're on their way. It's amazing just how things get going at this time of the year. It's mid-November. But how do we achieve all this? It's one thing to sow something, it's one thing to plant it into the ground. How is that actually going to grow? What is going to power its growth? The answer is compost. And the more of it you can make, and I know I talk about it all of the time, but the more of it you can make, the stronger and more healthier plants, bigger yields, bigger harvests you will get. Get a lot of questions about compost though, and what it should be, how it should be made. Do you know what, so long as you're just making compost, it really doesn't matter. You can see absolutely gorgeous stuff underneath. And all we do is empty Beauty and the Beast and put it onto this compost heap. We just keep layering it up. And then every 6 to 8 weeks, I will turn it from there into the next bay, just so that it gets nicely incorporated together. And actually, if I just dig down a bit where the stuff went in, probably in September and August, look at that, look.
That's lovely, isn't it? That really is. Black gold.
Black gold. And that's what powers our plants. It feeds the soil life in our New Dig Norfolk garden. They in turn turn that into rich nutrient soil. And that's why our plants look so good. They look really healthy, big, strong, and they give us great harvests. We also get materials in from various gardeners that live in and around the village. That'll continue rotting down now there. And then it just gets added to all the greens and things, and it goes on to make our compost. Then there's leaf mould. Why wouldn't you make that? It's a free resource. It costs you nothing but your time to sweep up the leaves. And yeah, get stuff like this. This is not fully broken down yet. Leaf mould can take anywhere between 12 to 18 months, but it's such great stuff. Oh. And all I did was rake up the leaves this time last year. These are all things that myself and Mrs. W have gathered from our garden over the last week that will make amazing compost. I saw from the comments in last week's video that Jackie, you said, yep, I saved my kitchen scraps and veg leaves. And you can see there, it's exactly what myself and Mrs. W do. There's our caddy. That was actually just bits and pieces that came from yesterday. We had my brother and his wife over yesterday, and we managed to fill the caddy up. And you can also see there where we've been de-leafing our brassicas. There. There's so many sources of materials that you can use when composting. Now, I often refer to these two as Beauty and the Beast. And then I get people that are new to the channel, because I might be standing down there and says, it's fine, this will go to Beauty and the Beast. And they go, who is Beauty and the Beast? This is the Beast, this was Mark 1, and this is Beauty. It wasn't that long ago that we filled them up, and that's sunk down really nicely, Mrs. W, that really has. So it's ready for another fill. But you do have to be dedicated to it. I note from most of this garden this year that where we've used our own homemade compost, the harvests have been so much better. The plants have been so much stronger. I know many of you commented on the last video saying, you know, you've found the same thing. Of course, for a garden here, our size, myself and Mrs. W are not self-sufficient in compost.
Not yet, but we're still working on it.
Yeah, we're getting there. We make more and more of our own compost every single year. But it does take a dedication. Have to keep at it. Doesn't matter what time of year it is. Doesn't matter where you make your compost in the world. You simply just have to keep making it. Probably one of the most popular questions I get asked is, my compost is not very fine. You don't need to worry too much about that. If you spread your compost at this time of the year, it's got the rest of November, December, January, February, the coldest months of the year here in the UK. And the winter winds and rain, frosts, dare I say snow if we get any, it will only break those down even more. You actually only need a really fine tilth when it comes to sowing seeds outdoors. For us, that means carrots, it means parsnips. And we do ensure that, you know, we do have some quite fine finish to our compost, just so that those seeds can germinate. But in the main, everything in our New Dig Norfolk garden is raised from modules first, so it doesn't matter that much. But if you have any doubt that having slightly lumpy compost could not be very good for you planting things, well, we looked at this at the beginning of the video. This is some garlic. And as I said, we'll give it a harvest next June. And you can see there's quite a large lump of compost there. If you go back a few videos ago, we washed this greenhouse and we put a nice mulch of our own homemade compost in here. That garlic has pushed its way through. All that lovely compost that we've made, Mrs. W, have had some amazing harvests out of this garden this year, and they're still continuing, still going on. And there's still a promise of much more to come, even as we go into 2025. So do keep making your compost wherever and whenever you get the chance. There are more materials on your plot than you actually think that you could be beginning the whole process off and getting ahead. You will only grow better vegetables. If you like what we do, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And of course, as always, we love to get your comments. Have a great gardening week. And myself and Mrs. W, Poppy, Zilla, we shall see you all on the next one.